Hello.
Hello.
Alrighty.
What's up, dude?
So, welcome everyone back to it's session 30. Is that right? I don't think that's correct. No, 30.
Yippee, is a big 30. Yay.
I think now, yeah, 38 slash session 20 of these groups. How is everyone doing tonight?
Woo.
Fair enough.
Pretty well.
Okay. So a little bit has happened since we last left off. Not since we last left off, when we last during our last session. So first I'll let those that were actually there try to explain what what the fuck happened. Wow. Okay. I see.
We were attacked by demons on the Springwind. We were attacked by the army that the Aesir was engaged with on the volcano. We defeated them, and then as we made our way closer towards the fighting, we noticed that Thor and Malefesh were having like an epic, crazy battle that was like devastating the battlefield. Everything, huge giant dragon, of course. But then we also realized that standing or hovering above the volcano was a strange figure, which some of us were able to correctly identify as the Chained Oblivion themselves, or at least like a fragment of what the Chained Oblivion is that was like sent here to, I guess, observe and control Malefesh. So Malefesh he didn't betray us. I want to say that he was loyal to the cause to the very end. He was mind controlled because he is still just, another demon. And so they were fighting. We made the decision to go and encounter the Chained Oblivion's fragment. We went to go fight it, and we were able to defeat it before, like, we sort of like parked the Springwind a few kilometers away from him, I guess, so that we could just fire some attacks at him. And then we were able to defeat him just as he made his way towards the edge of the Springwind. However, we weren't able to save Melfesh, and he was struck down by Thor just as we defeated the Chained Oblivion's fragment, and all the rest of the demons were effectively wiped out from then. And then we picked apart Melfesh's remains, as he probably would have wanted us to, being his close comrades in arms and all.
Yeah, that's totally what you were.
Yeah.
But yeah. That's yeah. So that's pretty much exactly what happened. Yeah. You all had been making your way to the Malefashist volcano. Turns out the Chained Oblivion had started mind control, using the hive mind to control Malefesh, to attack the Aesir, who had been previously in the neighboring volcano, now making it their way over to this volcano, and were surprise attacked by just a horde of demons, and Malefesh as well. And the group had contributed to the combat, including taking out this sort of ominous figure. I will give you another visual of that. This ominous figure who was kind of just observing the entire combat, seemingly controlling all of the demons, including Malefesh himself. Zaramiel had mentioned that it was a very light work. It was very they are powerful creatures, but they are glass cannons. So upon that realization, the party decided to dive headfirst towards this figure, and with enough eldritch blasts and fireballs from as far away as humanly possible, they were able to defeat this this kind of like observer, and the male Fesh seemingly dropped limp, either from unclear. Well, no, I think it was clear. It, during the session prior to the previous session, I had mentioned that certain demons had contributed to the Hecatoncres, more specifically the fall of the Hecatoncres, just kind of got wiped off the board for allying themselves against the Hecatoncres. This is very much so what happened to Malefesh. It seems the Chained Oblivion knew of Malefesh's betrayal, but didn't really seem to care until this point. But with that, you all looted the dead corpse of Malefesh, of his bones, of his teeth, I forget all of the things you stole from him. As the Aesir were able to swiftly take care of the rest of the demons and began marching forward into Malefesh's now barren city. So that is where we pick up with this session. Also, at the end of that combat and the end of the session, you all level up. So
Yay.
group
Wait,
2.
we leveled up? Oh, man.
Yeah. So group
Yes.
2 should be level 9, and I think group 5 should be level 8 right now, I think.
This is gonna take forever. Oh, no.
Yeah, I probably should have
I've got
mentioned that
evasion
while the pre-stream happened.
now.
Oh, here.
I believe in you, Jake. You got this.
I'm a fucking caster. You know how many spells I get now.
Just
Oh.
pick like two. You got this.
Did you,
I believe in you, buddy.
Did you gain a whole new level of like spells?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Oh wow!
Yeah, level 9 gets some
Who's about
first
to be
level
insane?
spells, and I think Tequila also gets third level spells, right?
Well, we should have put the. Yeah, I got third level spells. We should have put this in the chat because we knew this last week.
Yeah.
Oh,
What?
yeah, we did. No, my.
I
knew?
meant to do this.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I meant to do that. It got lost in my brain. That's my bad. But there should not be any sort of combat happening in this session from what I'm
We're going to get our money. We're gonna go get our money.
Yes. The session where we get the money. So you all had just left Malefesh's corpse, as the Aesir are now flooding into the city in these massive galleons, and eventually docking and making their way in these massive burly like orc soldiers in these thick furs that just don't seem very comfortable in this searing heat of the volcano as they are just marching forward. There are all kinds of the. You kind of get to see a lot of the Aesir court kind of just drifting about, observing everything, beginning to accumulate in the volcano of Malefesh. I would like to ask what this is a period of downtime as you all gain the benefits of a long rest after that combat session. I believe I was keeping track of at the very least I was keeping track of Myra's stuff, because that was a whole session. That was the thing I had to do all session. But you all gain the benefits of a long rest as you all level up, and I would like to ask what you all want to do with this downtime.
And you said we're with the Aesir court, like on there.
The Aesir court. So the Aesir are taking over this city, basically. So you have access to interacting with the Aesir court if you so wish. They are accumulating within the volcano, in the massive like castle like lair that Malfesh had domained.
Okay, well, Church would feel Tequila. Can you explain to us what it would be like to like have your magic taken out of the things that you put magic into? Like, how would I like? Because I want to react to that, but I don't really know how that would sort of be like for me.
That is a good question. It would probably just be like any obvious signs that it was magical. Maybe for your staff, you know, a little bit of lights here and there, they would depower and just be like off.
So perhaps, so maybe like while you are like examining and picking apart Malfesh, you just all of a sudden kind of hear this like kind of like sound from behind you, and you see your bow staff. Once this shimmering aura around it just wane and fade.
Well, it's not good. And I'm gonna try to look around for somebody. I think I mentioned this last session to use the like the the scales that I took off of male fish, and I want to try to find somebody that can either makeshift them into a sort of like gauntlet for me to wear, or to sort of like put them like onto the staff somehow. Actually, no, I want my staff to be magical again. So I want them to try to do that. Yeah, to go around and see if there's any people in the Aesir that are talented or skilled enough to makeshift me like a sort of gauntlet with the scales attached to it.
Okay, that gets into some interesting lore. But anyways, so you are going off to probably find like a smithy, somebody who is probably they definitely brought a lot of like provisions and also like working class to help with certain things like food and armories and weaponsmiths. So you would definitely be able to find someone to help you with that. So that's what Church is doing. Is anyone joining them?
I took Mailfish claws. I want to see if they can use them to manufacture me a new dagger, maybe a short sword.
Okay. Okay. So you two are going to try to turn Malfesh into your personalized weaponry. Okay. So, awesome. So that's what Citrine and Church are doing. How about everyone else?
I'm big sad, I mean.
Big sad for the man. Quite unfortunate. Here's the thing.
Myra's gonna split her time between adding spells to her book, because I have so many spell scrolls that I never added, and going through Malefesh's library and just like recording as much information as I can.
Okay. You would certainly be able to do that. I will let you know. I'll probably have to get back to you on the specifics on everything you are able to learn. But it's very much. I think we discussed the sort of main like topics that would be within the library, or at least like facet of what would be in the library, just being like architecture and stuff. But if there's any more, I will certainly get back to you on that.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is just like getting actual recordings so that there is essentially like additional copies of this knowledge. So that if anything happens to this library, that knowledge does not disappear.
I got you.
Ooh, I now have greater restoration, guys.
Nice.
All right.
And I will just be going back and forth between that and adding the multiple spells to my book.
Okay.
Oh wait, can't like we share spells with each other? Like I can give the wizard some spells. I don't know. What?
I don't. So I don't think you'd be able to do that because they'd have to.
I think it would have to
They-
be. You would have to. They would have to be spells I have access to as a wizard that I can add to my book.
And you'd also
And they
have
would
to
have to
write
be,
them. They'd
a
have to be
spell
written to
scroll.
transcribe into a. Yeah, they'd have to be written spell scrolls to transcribe into her book.
Ah, okay.
Alright, so that's what Myra is doing. How about we got Drew, Tequila, and Petal.
What would it take to sort of like restructure my armor into plate?
Ooh. You want let me think about that. So your armor is just a your let me think about that. Your enhanced armor is just it's just a different set of it's just a normal set of armor that you've given these properties to. So are you just asking like if you want to if you'd be able to switch it or turn the base armor into something else, into a new to upgrade it basically?
Well, I want to go the upgrade route because essentially I want to keep the same aesthetic and just kind of
Okay.
build up on it, like
Mhm.
reinforce it and stuff.
That would probably be in the same direction that Church and Citrine are going to, but yes, I think that can be doable. All right. That's where those three are going. Jake or Drew. Anything you would like to do during this
leveling
time?
up.
Okay.
I don't know. Are there like anything like something for casters? If not, I'll just pass. I know casters don't really get magic items, so or
I
useful
mean,
ones. At least.
I don't know. There are people that you can certainly go to try to find in order to collect to gain certain magic items. Yes. I should also ask, do you all want to do all this attempted shopping before or after you get paid for all of the stuff you've been doing?
Oh, probably after, yeah.
Yeah, I figured. I just wanted to clarify because that's gonna get you a lot of more money than you'd be able to spend. Which would mean that you'd want to go see Mimir with the Aesir court in the volcano first. So I figured that's what you three are doing. I would say you'd probably need like a representative of Group 5, to kind of clear. Oh yeah, these guys helped. These guys did something. They're not just some random stowaways. Because it was Group 5 that did that were originally assigned to this quest. So if not Myra, then it'd probably be like Vic or Hecate.
I can go with them. I'll do it in between my
Okay. All right.
various.
All right. And then
So guys, I now can revive you. Yippee.
and then Petal.
So I was actually thinking about taking a couple levels of wizard. So
Oh. Okay.
with this, I feel like especially picking up this first one, we're already kind of hired to be like a wizard's bodyguard. So Petal is kind of using that as an excuse to stay close to Myra and learn what she can by observation.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay. Interesting. So it would be like, yeah.
And I
Okay,
guess
so
when we get
basically-
around to shopping, I got to figure out how to get an arcane focus so that I can still beat people up while I hold.
Yeah. So you are essentially learning your. That's awesome. So you're essentially
ABCs of
learning from
spellcasting.
your. How many levels are you taking? Are you just taking the first one, or are you gonna respec?
For right now, I think I'm just taking the first one. I might respec to get a second level.
Awesome.
Which I'm back and forth on, but if I do take a second level, it'll be for the War Magic subclass.
Okay. Okay. So now Myra, an 8th
Nothing.
level caster, is being the teacher to Petal.
The 9th
Look,
level
Myra's-
punchy guy.
Absolutely down for it.
Hell
She
yeah.
is absolutely thrilled to
Do you
like.
do you have the intelligence for that? I feel like
I do.
I
I have a
okay.
14 in intelligence.
Okay. I thought that would be one of like your dump stats if you took as a pugilist.
So
But-
the idea when I made the character was for it to be a more like investigative style of character.
Gotcha.
That has not happened.
Yeah.
But the War Magic
uh,
subclass sounds really cool, and it works with like where the character's story has gone.
Yeah. I get that.
War magic.
All right. So
Also, I don't have the like. I have that mini rage ability, but I can still cast spells during it.
that's sick. All right.
Yeah, Myra will happily offer up her spellbook during the time she's doing other things if you want to add spells.
Wonderful. I am gonna go grab some physical books really quick, and pick some spells. I will be right
Yeah,
back.
I
We're just
will.
in the
I
next
will
round.
send you a photo of my list if you would like to know which ones I have.
That sounds brilliant. Actually, I will be right back.
All right. So, to start things off, the first thing I'm assuming everyone's going to
May
be doing
May
is
I ask
getting...
one more question?
Sure.
Really quickly.
Yeah.
Would I still have any access to? Because I know it was flavored that Mailfesh sort of reinstated my connection to the hive mind, giving me like the powers from the tattoo and everything like that. Would
Mhm.
that be gone again now that all of those demons are wiped out?
No.
Okay.
And that should be I should point out, I should probably state that should be a cause for concern.
Okay. I was gonna say, so if the tattoo didn't go away, like the new one didn't go away now that
The eye is still very present, and also
So for
and
For
also
for the question, does that mean that we can now be spied on by the hive mind again?
yes.
hooray.
Ah, damn it.
All right. With that information, we get paid. So, you all make your way back into a relatively familiar location yet again. The lair of Mailfesh, or once was Mailfesh. As you find yourself manually walking in this time, or are you taking the spring wind and just going up and into the volcano?
There shouldn't be any issue with it now. Yeah.
Okay. The one cause we're concerned would be the fact that a lot of the Aesir court are riding dragons. So there's like a little hot zone where there's just a bunch of dragons weaving through the air. You as the spring wind lowers down, there is like a boom, 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 as you feel like the thud of and clash as this massive black dragon that kind of clings to the side of the spring wind. 9 sets of legs, this massive set of black wings, and this almost horse-like face of a dragon kind of like peers at you, snarls, and then kind of just kicks off of the spring wind. The horsepower of nine sets of legs just rocks the entire spring wind a lot as you jolt around a bit, but it continued to make your slow descent down. So you all make your way down here, and there are several faces that you encounter. Let me verify who would be. So it would be these two. You. It would be you. Probably be you. And I'll say that's it for now. So why is the name not popping up? That's why. There we go. All right. So you all land the spring wind in the center of the volcano. Stepping out, the first one to greet you is Mimir. This would be a familiar face to, I think everyone had met Mimir at least once or twice. This was the original quest giver. The smartest orc alive, apparently. This gray, muted, monochrome kind of skin, shaggy black hair in this beard, and long hair tied up behind him. Thick leathers with the appearance of a sorcerer wielding the shaman staff as he kind of like hunched over, kind of shambles over to you all. This man is very old in appearance as he makes his way over to you all. He originally greets Hecate and Vic and Myra as you all see a pleasant smile on Mimir's face as he says, Miss Ainsley, welcome back. It is good to see you again. I'm sorry your approach was intrusive.
It was unfortunate, but not.
Forgive me. I was under the understanding that this was this demon that abided here was an ally.
Of a sort, yes. This was a distinct possibility. I didn't think it was likely, but I knew it was possible.
Zoramiel, who is also accompanying you all, kind of like sheepishly like huddled behind people, trying to keep out of eyesight of the giant orcs and the Vanir. He's just like, if I may, it was a similar situation to the thralls. It was a mindless controlling from the Chained Oblivion itself. The only true person that could not be interfered with by Melfesh's powers of the hive mind. And it is unfortunate to say that that for some reason they had turned they used Melfesh to attack you all, and I am so very sorry about the happenstance of Fesh and Mimir kind of just looks confused as he says, and who is this? Kind of looking to Myra for the answer.
This is Zoramiel. He accompanied us. He served Melfesh.
I see.
Allied. Very much allied. He will do us no harm.
I see. the more the merrier. And as long as this stays outside of Niflheim, then I guess there's no issue. Anyways, so we have much to discuss on your work here in Jotunheim, and your reward as well. I believe my counts were correct. It was 300 gold per successful spying, 800 if you were to take care of the Demon Lord. With that in
I
mind,
believe so, yep.
with that in mind, I believe if we will count Melfesh in this matter. Unfortunately, the reward will be 1,600 for the first 2 volcanoes, and I believe you have just returned from spying on 2 more.
Yes.
And no, and it kind of like looks at you, he's like, and I assume, as per our agreement, the 1,600 would be individual. So
Yes,
I'm
these I believe I mentioned that my grandfather has some amount of influence
you have, yes.
on the other side of the wall. He is also very overprotective. A group was sent to assist me and make sure I didn't die, as well as to bring a demon back to the other side. As
Yes, I
proof.
believe we were properly acquainted back in the Isles of the Demogorgon. Yes, sorry about that. Greetings. I am Amir of the Aesir court, if that was forgotten. But, yes. In that case, I believe we can still accommodate for the reward. This is to now 8 individuals. For the sake of the Aesir court, I will not be including NPCs in this payment.
Yeah, it feels. I'm like
sorry,
doing math in my head, and I'm
Daisy.
like, oh yeah, it is right.
Sorry, Daisy. Sorry, Cornelius. Sorry, Ralph. Sorry, Zaremiel. No. But so. Okay, so 1,600. So yeah, for the successful defeat of Barbu and the successful defeat of Melfesh, everybody gains 1,600 gold.
Hell
Now,
yeah.
Wow.
and then for the as I'm assuming someone will begin to relay the information that you all gathered from Vukarik and Turaglass. That is an additional 600 gold per person.
No way, we're the richest we've ever been.
This is the first time I've ever had money the whole campaign. Just
I
put that up. I have
Oh,
never.
I
feel
guess
like you've been
technically
paid
on
before.
the ship.
I'm not. Remember, I
He's
wasn't
always
there the
gone
day
You
we
when
weren't
it-
even there.
I wasn't there the day we got paid. Yeah, so I didn't have any money, and I asked Tequila for some money, and he gave it all to that rat for his bail.
Yeah.
That was
Oh my
your
God.
idea.
Well, yeah, I thought we could have. We changed him. Look, he's fighting for the side of good now, and he's shaped up his life. He's not being a criminal anymore. He's off the
The
streets. We reformed him. We gave him a new life, life of adventure.
Oh,
A life of adventure in the realm of demons. Anyways, so you all gain a collective sum of 2,200 gold for your work here in Jotunheim. And now, Mimir says, now, your work here, technically, is finished. As I believe Turglass is the last, as Turglass should be the final should be the final settlement in which we need to take before we have dominance over the coast. So, should you wish to assist further, we can always use more people to aid in the incoming conflict with Vukarik and Turglass. But I understand if that is not your field of expertise. Looks to the pugilist, looks to the monk, looks to the...
Um. Okay, I don't know. Are there like any magic shops to spend our money?
We have brought along certain individuals that would be able to craft you some magic items, yes.
Yeah. Hey, so what kind of items can you make now?
Can I make?
Wait, not Zo. Lorenzo. Wait,
Yeah,
Church.
Lisa.
What church? He items that he can make.
No, I'm confused. The two people
Tequila.
starting with
Yeah, it's
L.
looking for me.
Lisa. Can you
I don't know. I have a lot of
can you
plans
tell
for
I only
upgrades. What?
Yeah. Can you tell I woke up an hour ago?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So with that said, do you all give any sort of concrete response to Mimir's proposition?
I'll be completely honest. Sorry, it went
Yeah,
past my ears
I
and I
missed
was
I
looking at
missed
my
the exact details of the proposition again. Yeah. That.
If you wish to aid further, we can always use more people to assist in the coming conflict with Vukarik and Turglass, but I understand if that is not your area of expertise.
fighting. Let's go.
Okay,
I'm
roll
always
one.
down to fight more demons.
Well,
Just-
what would be in it
just
for
looks down
what
at
would
the-
be in it for us?
Well, and a way out of the Forbidden East would be the main goal. But I suppose we can come to a conclusion on a monetary sum.
Well, what I'm looking for, well, we can discuss all of that later. Actually, I think we haven't seen anything here that's too dangerous yet, so I'm in for it. If the rest of our allies are,
There's like dreaded confusion on his face, like okay, well.
Myra just kind of like makes eye contact to like
despite
indicate
the
that
fact
he is.
despite the fact that I do think I have taken the most damage since we've been on this island. I don't
know.
think Church is not like he hasn't really been, two-faced. He hasn't. I don't think I've been unconscious more than once. So he's been.
I beg to differ. I beg to differ that Petal has gone unconscious quite a few number of times already.
Yeah, but Church personally is like, yeah, I've been doing all this crazy frontline work, and I've come out relatively okay. So I don't think anything's been too bad.
In Church's defense, I think I've only actually gone unconscious one time. Then I got the shit smacked out of me a couple times, but I was okay. And then I started scromiting for an hour. But I've been fine otherwise.
That's right. That's right.
Scromiting?
Screaming and vomiting in the corner for an entire boss fight.
I remember that. Okay. Anyways.
Anyway, I did decide to take the second level, by the way. I dropped the actor feat because I'm giving up on making it relevant.
I'm so
I have
sorry.
tried, damn it. But I have caved. I kept the mobile feat as my fourth level.
I'm so sorry. Okay. Awesome. Keep that in mind.
So I think we have 3 people that are down to fight more.
Yeah, he looks. Mimir has to like. Mimir is like, he's old and he's like hunched over, but he's still like 7 feet tall.
Would Mimir know
And
any?
he like looks down at the 3-foot droid on the just standing there like, I want to fight. I got it. And he just goes, we have one confident volunteer. What was your question, Church?
Would Mimir know anything about the goings on in Rosmoen and the whole catastrophe happening there, and basically about what may have happened to any of the survivors of anything that happened in Rosmoen?
You ask Mimir, and he basically gives you a very solemn. Unfortunately, we have been rather annexed from the rest of the world. Nobody really knows anything that's going on here, nor do we know anything that's going on outside. It's a miracle that you are able to, that you know anything about what's going on outside. As we,
Okay, so-
for all we know, the outside world is nothing more than more demons. But your arrivals are an exemplary contradiction to that.
well then, I say we
Always
take out
contradicting.
these demons so that we can find out more about what's going on in the outside world. So I'm
Very much.
definitely in. Yeah.
Very, very good. I must also consult the treasury because resources are dwindling, but I will attempt to make some sort of financial plan for your aid in the oncoming conflicts.
Drew walks up to Lizard, who is currently like workshopping his armor, and will drag him down to Mimir, saying he's ready.
What?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're ready for more fights, right? Right, Killer?
I mean, so our original job was to follow Myra around, and that's what I'm gonna do. I really don't care outside of that.
All right, and we need to convince Myra to fight. This is gonna take a while.
I
do
I'm sorry.
need to
I
get
don't.
home at some point. So I'm fine with fighting with an army instead of trying to 1v1 or 1v several thousand demons in that one volcano.
The hellscape. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fine dealing with that with an army.
We're the army.
They're
We're
the
the-
army.
You are not the
So
army,
people-
but I appreciate your efforts. The army is outside.
Yeah, but we're like one of the big hitters. Yippee.
We're a whole section of the army just in this little group. But is everybody cool to go and help them fight big bads?
So
As long as
would
I
be
get
the
paid, I'm
case.
happy.
There will
I
be
think
an arrangement of payment. Yes. Probably.
Well, before we do all of
should-
that,
Okay.
I wanted to know if he could point me in the right direction of somebody that could maybe uh, get me equipped now that I have money.
Or you could get bracers of defense.
Yeah, or I kind of want to ask him actually if there's any way that I could be equipped with some different weaponry without the money, like just to be, kitted for whatever sort of standard weaponry their army uses without having to pay for it?
I think
Mm.
that's impossible for you at least, since you're a
We
monk.
I
we
guess.
do have weaponry and munitions for our common soldiers, but if you're looking for something magical, that would not be the case. For we do not have the resources to supply every soldier with with anything more than a +1 weapon for the sole purpose of abiding to ignoring resistances to their non-magic.
Oh, well, that's not really quite what I was looking for. Just maybe, a sword that's slightly larger. Basically, I'm wanting to change my monastic tradition. I when like making it, I kind of only went with what was there, and
Mhm.
I really don't really do a lot of like use a lot of this monastic tradition, and I feel
Okay.
like I'm more like using my weapons like for what I feel like is
Do you wanna
the Kensei
do you wanna
vibe.
be a Kent?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
So
Okay.
I'm wondering if I could just get a is longsword. It just has to lack
Yeah.
heavy. Okay, so let me.
If you
I
want to
want
look for
to
a
make sure that it works right. Yeah.
yeah, Mimir
I
could be
do
like
believe
we
longsword is
have.
covered by Kensei.
Okay. Yeah, longsword's versatile. So yeah, I wanted to know if I could basically just ask him for a regular longsword, like a normal one, and
Oh,
also
if you were
a
just looking for a
longbow, like
simple,
a sword and a bow. Yeah.
if you were looking for just simple weaponry, I'm sure there are plenty of weaponsmiths that we have brought along from Niflheim that would be able to assist you in that. As for uh payment, as for payment, unfortunately, we pay you for the job. The weaponry would have to be covered by the gold we pay you, essentially.
Got you. Insurance sort of thing. Do you think maybe we could work out a deal where if I bring it back in decent condition after we so graciously, you know what? Fine, I'll pay for it. Whatever.
That would
It's not
be
to say you just got like
I
so
really,
much gold.
yeah, but I really
that
want
would
to
be a discussion for
super
the
cool.
that would be a discussion for the weaponsmith. I would not be in charge of
So,
of their payment plans.
so we each got 275 gold.
2,200 gold.
Okay, split amongst all 8 of us.
No, you
No.
individually got
Oh,
2,200 gold.
oh, I drastically misunderstood that then. That I was,
I have
I
misunderstood the assignment in the best way.
okay, then, okay, yes, fine. I'll pay for whatever you need me to pay for. Oh,
So
okay, I was
Yes,
trying to
you can see why we didn't. He just looked. You can see why we didn't. You're fine.
Okay, yeah, gotcha.
Okay. All right. So
I think this
Uh,
entire conversation's happening, and then Myra just hands you the sack. And you're like,
Oh, oh my. Uh, this should
just
be
a
enough.
giant sack of gold.
This should probably be enough, I think.
Michaela, you
Yeah.
can't just say you hand someone your sack. That's just not. This is the internet.
Who amongst us has never passed off our sack to someone else?
Me. Anyways,
Sounds like a skill issue, honestly.
anyways, I don't know why I answered. All right. So, is there anything else anyone would like to discuss with Mimir?
Actually, can I ask Mimir, who would be the best smith to go to that like you all brought along? I'd like to go to somebody that I know would have the affinity to create the sort of thing that I'm looking for. I don't want some just run of the mill smith, really.
I don't
Like,
think there are any run-of-the-mill smiths in here.
but if there was, somebody that you would have me be directed to, is there a name that you let a course that you might suggest we take to
Not-
to going and looking for those things?
Not
for
of
that
a
person?
specific name, but if you have not noticed yet, there are 3 factions that comprise this infantry that we have brought along. It is the Aesir, the Vanir, and the Deviat. The Deviat are dragonborn, and one of their main cultural practices is forging weapons and armaments from the metallic remains of their ancestors. So they are quite familiar with working with dragons, with dragon parts, and forging them into weapons and armor. One of our most commemorated soldiers is the representative of the Deviat. A platinum dragonborn.
Well then, that sounds like my first stop.
The platinum dragonborn or the Deviat? Because the platinum dragonborn is not going to be able to help you with that, because that is
just the Deviat. I'll go.
Okay.
I'll be headed that way once we break from this guy.
He's like, you want to go speak to who? No, anyways. So with that, unless anyone else has anything else they want to speak to Mimir about,
Let's go shopping!
And I would also recommend for everyone wanting to go shopping for weapons and armor, the Deviat are definitely the go-to for that. Especially if you have male fesh stuff you want to make into weapons and armor. But in general, like Tequila, they would probably be the more likely candidate to better help you with turning your armor into plate armor. But yeah, all right. So first things first, you all disseminate across from the volcano. Myra, you make your way into the archives to begin inspecting. Jeez. You find that the castle is overrun, as there are all manner of Vanir, these like Feywild humanoids, Aesir, the giant burling orcs, and the Deviat. Not so much the Deviat. The Deviat are very like sparse, but in general there are a lot of infantry soldiers kind of like scanning around for potentially more demons, and they do seem to kind of just be like examining the different archives, and they do seem to be kind of misusing them in a sense, as in they kind of just like they're like loosely inspecting them and kind of just tossing what they believe is just useless junk they can't read off to the side.
Myra will get kind of pissy at this, because 1, this is knowledge needs to be protected, and 2, she wasn't particularly close or friendly with Malefesh, but I feel like they both had a mutual understanding and respect in terms of like the preservation of things.
Mm-hmm.
And so she just starts like threatening people with firebolts if she needs to get everybody out of the library and get it back in order.
Oh, okay. That's
so that she can
interesting.
go through and just like
So
get as much of this down as she can.
the Vanir kind of you see the Vanir kind of like scoff and walk away. The Deviat don't really seem to give any sort of like resistance, but the orcs, the Aesir are very much still orcs. So they see a challenge and they wish to contest this challenge in any chance they get. So you are quite often met with a giant ass, like 7-foot orc staring you down. This just massive burly soldier trying to size you up, who immediately gets soot in his face as a fireball just gets sent in his face. Sent in his
Anyone
face
who
if
is-
necessary.
Yeah, anyone who's being particularly obnoxious, I now have vortex warp. So I will just send people to the other and just go outside. You're outside now.
I have just started using Vortex Warp in one of my as a player in another campaign, so I love how that's exactly I know exactly what that is. Go ahead and make an intimidation check. Are you proficient in intimidation at all?
No.
Okay. I will say this will be just a straight intelligence roll. Because
Okay.
this is essentially you making an intimidation check with your arcane. Okay. So the orcs, you see that they are still very much soldiers, very constituted, and so the firebolts do a decent number to kind of ward them off, but the ones that kind of like don't even contest are give you a very much more of a this is not worth my time, you are nothing to me kind of attitude as they make their leave.
I don't care as long as they are out.
Mm-hmm. As you eventually are able to get them all to leave, you are eventually greeted by I think you would recognize this person, a member of the Aesir court, as the orcs are kind of just like scoffing and leaving. Another orc comes in, much taller than the infantry around him. Big, kind of his size is accented by the giant thick furs that he wears, alongside dual circular shields made of stone with these blue runes with these intricate blue runes carved into each one. Abjuration magic. Almost immediately you catch the resemblance of abjuration magic. This kind of short red hair pulled back into a small knot behind him. You would recognize as member of the Aesir court, Baldur the Light. As he doesn't seem to look any sort of with any sort of anger as he approaches, as he says, "Are my men troubling you, ma'am?"
Less me and more the organization and layout of the library. Considering how much information this library contains about what was on this continent, I would like it to stay intact long enough for it to be recorded so that this information is not lost forever, like the information was at every other city on this continent.
Kind of, you watch him kind of like pick up just a random tile of information as he looks down at it. He says, "You must forgive my men. They are not able to read anything. So anything with writing on it scares them." And as he puts it on them, a people respect strength and wisdom entwined, but not everyone is of the same mindset. I will try to keep my men from interfering with any sort of knowledge here, but I must request that we that we are able to pass through here to make searches for other demons. This is hostile
That's-
territory.
That's fine. Just please don't touch the slabs. There are so many piles. And she will just point at the discarded heaps that were once in order.
I will have to speak to Freyr and ask if we can have more Vanir, or perhaps less Aesir interfere in searches.
Thank you.
He gives a nod and he turns and he leaves. All right, so next up, I'm also Petal. Are you joining Myra for this as well? Because I'm assuming you would want to do that to flavor the leveling up.
I'll have to catch up with her because I do still have to get my own spellcasting focus. Preferably
That's
something that I can beat people with.
Ooh, okay. So you want a
Maybe,
melee weapon that can also be used as a quarterstaff.
I was kind of thinking some bejeweled brass knuckles with the crystals acting as the focus.
I can. I forgot that you still don't have those. I'm sorry. Let me verify. Doing a little bit of scrolling. Is the Thunder Knuckles correct?
That was one I was looking at a while back. That's in the people class in the back.
Brass Knuckles. Attack 2. +2 attack bonus. Okay. If you want to make the Thunder Knuckles into a sort of spellcasting focus, that can be done as well.
That does sound sick as fuck.
All right. So yeah, you would probably have to divert from the rest of the group to eventually find a person that'd be able to do that. A Hexblood. You eventually find this dark purple skinned, almost mistaken them for a tiefling, but then you see the sort of black tattoo almost on their tattoos that kind of trace all across their body, and the lack of horns, instead just a plume of shaggy purple hair, working on this at the foot of this anvil that seems to be glowing with all these different sort of spells and runes, as he seems to be hammering away at some incomprehensible piece of metal. As he looks up to you, he says, "Hello, can I help you?"
I heard you're good at making magic things that hit hard.
Ah, my reputation precedes me. I see.
Very much so. And I'm looking for a little weapon that'll let me zap the living fuck out of someone.
I'm gonna need to roll.
And also cast my spells with it.
Okay, he completely believes you. As he just looks in, as he says, "Ah, I have a thing that I have something along those lines that I've been working on. You wish to make this a spellcasting focus you can hit with. Correct?"
Exactly.
I see. I've been toying with this sort of concept before. every sort of wizard often finds themselves in close quarters when they don't want to. But he kind of like pulls this piece of parchment from. You find him in this like galleon, pretty much. He's in. You've actually not been in these galleons. You find the massive Aesir galleons are often where all of these sort of like stalls and stations are for all of these different workshops. And though it looks like a standard galleon on the outside, there are 13 different inner layers of this within this ship. Seemingly some sort of magical, bigger on the inside magic that, though you're learning, still bewilders you. As you eventually find him kind of just in his own lair on one of these ships, and he has this station that he pulls this piece of parchment out, and it's a blueprint for essentially the Thunder Knuckles, but they are also used as a spellcasting. It is also labeled specifically as a spellcasting focus, which you can use.
Do you think I can get it in green?
Green. Now that I think I can do. Yeah.
You're the best. You're wonderful. Thank you.
Of course.
How much will it be?
For a set of Thunder Knuckles. I don't know why my screen. I will say. When I said Thunder Knuckles, I would say. Times a shot. 100 gold.
Deal. You drive a mean
Excellent.
bargain. It was very hard to do that math in my head.
I try my best to confuse everyone around me. Would there be anything else you wish?
I think I'm good for right now, but I will probably be back.
Well, in any case, you are welcome to stop by in my shop. If you can remember my name, which I'm sure you know. Because my reputation precedes me, of course.
You have such a good reputation.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
What's my name? You like walking out and he's just like, what's my name? What okay.
I throw up my cloak, forgetting that it's not magical anymore, and try to slip out.
What are you doing? What is this? It was okay. All right. No, I thought that was popular. All right. It's funny because this is an NPC that the original Group 5 had known. Anyways, so you are able to. It will take him a bit of time, and you will have to come back and retrieve them. But you will in fact be able to get a set of Thunder Knuckles for 100 gold. All right.
Yeah, I've already marked it.
So, next up is the people going to the Deviat, which I believe would be Church, would be Citrine, would be Tequila. And are we Jake as well, or what is Drew looking for?
I don't know if my money can buy a +2 spell powers thingy.
200 gold.
Yeah, well, you got 2,200 gold, and yeah, you'd be able to get something that's like +2.
Yippee!
Okay.
For the record, my Thunder Knuckles are a +2 weapon.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and also I think, and I've also had. It's cheap. It's cheap to get a +1 or a +2 modifier. I promise you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so eventually, you are able. You kind of like traverse through the different places, asking around about weaponsmiths and the Deviat, and eventually find yourself in the smithy of an iron dragonborn. This very silvered, this shining silver, only muted by the bits of soot and ash that have coated his metallic skin as he's working away in this very hot environment. He is also within the bowels of one of these many Aesir galleons, but it doesn't look like. But as you make it down to this layer, it almost seems like you are in a completely different setting entirely, as the entire walls and the interior are just made of this black stone, and this eerie set, and this smoke kind of billows at the roof of just at the roof, clinging to the, almost like it's clinging to the roof itself. There is a massive furnace and lava pooled in a corner, just in this massive kind of tub. And he's also kind of working away at this anvil. You could see there's armories set up with these kind of sketches of all these different variations of scale mail, but designed in very intricate ways to kind of discern what kind of dragon the scale mail is made out of. But you all eventually come up to him as he looks to you all, and he says, "What can I do for you?"
Well, I'm looking to see if you can do something with these. As I sort of lay out the scales on the table, I'm looking for something to cover my hands and maybe make me a little more effective in combat. Do you have anything that comes to mind?
He looks
Like
down at
file.
the scales. You kind of pass him the scales, and kind of examines them as he displays them on the giant anvil he has. And he he takes a moment, and there's just this sheer confusion on his face as he grabs some more equipment to properly examine, and he looks up at you and he says, "Where the fuck did you find this?"
Does he look like he's gonna be pressed if I tell him it's from
He
Melfesh?
looks
It's from a dragon?
he looks absolutely, well, you can tell he works
Or he just knows?
with the dead remains of other dragons before. He just doesn't he doesn't really, he seems confused as to the origin of it, but you're not entirely sure why he's whether or not it's because he recognizes Melfesh, or maybe he's confused about what type of dragon this is.
Oh, well, I simply retrieved them from a felled opponent, an enemy of the Aesir, but it's a long story.
You got
A gift of sorts.
a gift. Okay. It has been many years since I have laid my eyes on a void dragon scales. Void dragons should not exist in Cerdonia. What did you want me to do with this? He lost train of thought, and he's just like, "What did you want me to do with this again?"
So, as I basically would put out my hands to him and have them open, and would be turning them up and down, showing him how rugged my hands are, how beaten down they've been throughout all of the fighting and everything like that. And I would say to them that I'm looking for something that could protect my hands while at the same time reinforcing them, making my blows a bit stronger. then just using these fists. As you can see, my
Uh-huh.
knuckles are sort of starting to wear down with all the bruises and cuts scattered across my hands. Wraps, things like that, bandages. And so basically that's what I would ask him for. If you could makeshift me some sort of gauntlet or perhaps some
This
sort
is
of
the
rings to put
remains of
around
a
my knuckles
he kind of like
using
looks
these.
back. He's listening in, and then you watch him slowly look back down and just like in contemplation. He's like, "This is the remains of an angel. Like, what the fuck?" As he just like, as he's so confused. He's so confused about Malfesh's origins as a void dragon. But he looks up and he was just,
They're the remains of a fierce warrior, and I will keep
no.
them with me on my person for as long
No
as
kidding. This is the remains of
live.
the remains of an angelic dragon that had fallen from grace and turned into a void dragon.
So, can you do something with them? I can make it worth your
I
while.
No, I can absolutely do something with it, but like I'm still mourning the death of a void dragon. Anyways, so
Once a pity, as am I.
you have scales. That's it.
Yeah, now if I recall correctly, they were spiked, like very ridge,
Oh yes, they are
like almost
quite
like
spiked. Yes.
shaped, sort of.
Let me look at something real quick.
Excuse me.
Um. Hmm. Well, the scales I can quite easily make into a set of bracers of defense. The properties of the any sort of additional abnormal properties might occur with the production of these, as I'm unwholly familiar with how I'm wholly unfamiliar with how to of using void dragon scales in my work. But I can make a set of bracers of defense if you'd like.
Is there any way that they could be braces of defense that maybe I know the +2 AC is already probably pretty much a lot, but is there any way I could split it to where it only gives one, and then I could add some sort of bonus, like maybe like put the extra one into the unarmed strikes rather than making it +2 to the AC or something like that? So, because I'd like to try to add something to the unarmed strikes for the sake of them being, spikes. That's kind of like what my goal was with that. Or maybe I
Yeah.
would even
He
be
he like looks down. He's like, well, any sort of abnormal properties that would come from using void dragon scales would more than likely aid in some sort of attack. So
hmm,
I'd have to actually make the bracers of these bracers before I can actually confirm whether or not they do anything offensively. But
well then. I simply ask you to do your best work with them, and I will trust that you and your experience will create me uh, something that will increase my efficiency in combat. So I'll take whatever he makes from me, but I'll accept those bracers for right now, definitely. And how
all
much
right.
how much how much will it be? Also, do you think you could throw in uh a long sword and a long bow for me, please? With this, just a simple.
Do you have the stuff you've provided right now would only be able to provide for the Void Dragon would only be able to provide for the braces of defense.
Yes, you all. I was told by Mimir that you all should have some, some spare equipment lying around that you use for your army that I definitely would be willing to purchase.
My, I you'd have to speak with someone else aside from me, because I specifically work with the dead remains of ancestor dragons, which means that I don't really have any leftovers. So unless you have more of this void dragon, then I would not be able to assist you. But if there are plenty others that can provide you with a long sword and a long bow.
And could you direct me to one of those others, please? I'm looking for, in a supply director or something like that.
Yeah, he'd be able to definitely provide you with the and you'd probably be able to find one that can get you the a very standard long bow and long sword for their base prices.
Okay. And then how much would it be for those gauntlets then?
I would say 400 gold.
400? Are you out of your mind?
Braces.
350. Can I try? Can I just? I just
Excuse
want to
me?
try. I just want to try to talk it down to
Is he
350.
like?
Can I please try to
He just like looks at you and go ahead and make a persuasion check.
persuasion? Okay.
Swear to God.
Let's see here. My persuasion's not that high.
Jesus.
16.
He looks to you and he says, These are void dragon scales. Void dragon scales. A material I am not familiar with using. And would be are rather valuable. The equivalent of making a less rarer substance to use for the braces of defense would be making them out of pure diamond.
Well, aren't you grateful for the opportunity that I provided you to add this experience onto your resume as a smith?
No.
Oh, damn it.
You've taken the remains of a now extinct species and given them to me to ask for a set of nice fancy hand guards.
Fine then.
You're not even a dragonborn. This is not your ancestor.
I take my sack of 400 gold and I slam it on the table. Fine then. Do your best work though. I trust in you, and I'm gonna go off to get my longsword.
Right. He looks to Citrine and Tequila. He's just like, right. Any more extinct species that I can use that you wish for me to work with?
Yes, actually, I have these two claws from that same dragon.
Son of a bitch! He just looks at he looks down solemnly at the remains that you provide him, and he says, "Hey, what do you want?"
Specifically a dagger, made out of one or two of the claws, and maybe a short sword as well. If it helps, I didn't kill the dragon.
Sure. Well, the claw. He's pretty tall and big. It does like fit his hand. Like it looks like almost like the perfect shape for like a very like curved knife. But he looks to it. He says, "Well, it's too small for a short sword." But
I kind of figured.
It is a rather potent size for a dagger.
Okay.
Given that it is a void dragon, it would also be giving you a certain necrotic after effect due to the nature.
Yeah.
So I would say 300 gold per knife.
Any way we can work that price down?
Do you have any other remains of this creature that you are not using?
I mean, I don't really need 2 knives, so you can have that other claw if you want. Unless Tequila, do you want it?
I don't know. I feel like you could probably. It's probably worth the money to hold on to it and make something out of it.
Yeah, true. What can
If,
I
in
make out
fact,
of
if
it?
it's a good question. I look at the crafter.
How much would I
Oh.
get off on price if I gave you that claw? The spare one.
Oh,
You give me an extra claw, and you want to. You give me 3 claws.
No. I want 1 dagger, but that second claw
One.
you would just yeah.
Okay. I would halve the price. 150.
Mm.
I would cover that to keep the claw.
yeah, you could always use the claw for something later on, or maybe like
My thought is I just don't know what else I use the claw for.
you could maybe ask him to make you rather than a. Oh, stabs aren't light weapons, are they? Finesse weapons. I was gonna say you can make like a 2-sided weapon, maybe like a 2-sided sort of knife dagger thing that has both of them on either side. And I think there's something
What about
about that.
an idea? What about a throwing knife? Could you make the dagger to make the second claw a throwing knife?
Well, daggers are already technically throwing knives, but I mean, I can. If you wanted a. This is. Void dragon material is very hard to pare down to smaller sizes. I would not be able to make it a simple throwing knife unless you wanted it to be a whole dagger.
Isn't there something new now where if you have a weapon that is double-sided, like a staff, you can make another attack with it with the same thing and like roll the damage twice?
That I believe is like it's either.
Because I'm thinking you could make like a double-sided knife thing where you stab once and then you could like flip it and stab again.
That I think is a fighter maneuver, or polar. No, it's a pol. It requires certain abilities. Certain abilities give you that. Certain feats and like class features give you that trait, but you wouldn't be able to do that just by yourself.
Dang, something else. Maybe you could make like an arrow that you could try to like recall instead of like just leaving it there, like trying to find some special way to enchant it to where you can recall it back and then have like a melee and a ranged version of what you're trying to do. I don't know. That might be something you could work out.
I'd be interested in that. I just don't know if that is possible.
I think there's certain recall abilities and things like that that you could maybe look into or maybe look around and see if you could ask a party member to chance it. I don't know, but I think it'd be something instead of you just
I believe
hold
you all
on.
collected teeth as well, right?
I
That was
know I
Vic.
didn't.
That was Vic, wasn't it? Vic did the tea.
Oh, Vic collected tea. Okay, so
Vic collected some stuff. Yeah.
okay.
I'll keep the spared claw now. Give me one dagger.
One dagger for 300.
All right. Yeah, let's do it.
All right. And he takes
Really?
the claw. He will spend a long rest doing that. I will give both of your items to you by the next session, because there are some hidden properties that wouldn't make it more than just a little fancy knife and bracers.
Sweet.
But yeah. All right. So, and then lastly is tequila.
Hey, yeah, I don't got any ancient dragon parts, so I'm pretty simple. I just want like access to your forge, for you to point me to where I can buy materials and maybe a little bit of like help on the labor. I'm looking at a whole like restructure. Um, we're talking from medium to heavy armor here.
Mm-hmm. You wish to use my forge?
Yeah.
I would have to. There's no way I can simply be paid to assist you in this matter.
I mean, I will have to be around. If I'm not around, there's a very real chance it will explode while you're working on it.
And why is the armor itself?
Yeah.
I okay. That can be arranged, yes. As for materials, you'd have to probably find someone who has lost any sort of metallic dragon in their ancestry, any recently, which has not really been which I do not believe is the case, unless anyone had fallen in Jehutai and the city we're in.
Okay, so y'all just don't work with like metal at all.
We work with metal, but our metal comes from our ancestors.
Oh, interesting. I'll check around. Maybe some of the other factions will have metal, or maybe I'll find somebody who just has scales around or something.
The Underdark is very barren. There are no minerals to be found.
Shit.
The closest you'd probably be able to find is Svartalheim with a mithril. But that is in Svartalheim. I'm sure you know where that is.
Well, it's not here. That's the important part.
That is... Yes, it's in the Underdark.
Mm-hmm. I might need to go to Svartalheim. Mithril. Mithril would be good.
So, anything else you would like from my workshop aside from my workshop?
Well, I don't know if I can use your workshop if I have no materials. So, I'm gonna go check around for ancestors, I guess, and I'll get back to you.
Very well.
Hey, he disintegrated after y'all took that stuff, right?
No.
No?
Mhm.
Oh, he's still there?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Never mind, I guess I'm gonna go harvest.
Oh boy.
Poor Melfash. He can never. Anyways. Okay. So,
DM, I realize there are two things I want, but that doesn't need to happen now.
shopping wise, or
Yes, shopping.
okay.
Shopping plus penalty.
Well, uh, well, if you want to kind of align your timelines a bit, Petal, you are searching for an arcane focus at the moment. Or no, you already
Yeah.
did that. Fuck. Never mind.
Yeah, that being said, that was not a very long errand. I can always catch back
No.
up with her.
Yeah, I was gonna say the two of you can do that together. But never mind. Okay.
Hey, Myra, I know a guy. His reputation precedes him. Allegedly.
Noted.
I don't know his name.
Yeah, I kind of love that you just like hype this man up, and you have no idea.
Sometimes you gotta get a discount on your +2 magic items.
Anyways, so Church, you are able to get your weapon. You are able to just get your weaponry straight up. The non-magical ones. You're able to find a long sword and a long bow. And Citrine and Church, you're both waiting on your weapons from the Dragonborn. Myra, what was the thing you wanted to go get? Unless-
I want to get a +2 arcane grimoire, which just adds to my spell attack and saving throws.
Okay.
And in the continuing the game of desecrating this poor dragon's body, I was hoping.
Anyways.
No, I was just hoping to get use one of his scales to create a dragon touched focus.
Oh, okay, I see.
And just have it embedded in the front of the grimoire.
Okay. So after Petal knows a guy, you guys go back to the guy. And yeah, you were able to find the same kind of hex blood. As he looks to you, as he says, grimoires are not my specialty, but I'm flexible. And you have a dragon scales. Interesting. So you wish to attach to dragon touch your grimoire?
Yes, I've heard of things that can enhance one's spellcasting ability.
Now this will be a lot simpler if I can borrow one of the. As you point to the 5 books strung all around Myra. If I could borrow one of those, just one of those, that would be very useful. Because then I'd have to find another entire book, which would mean I'd have to make a whole new. I'd have to talk to this weird parchment man. It's interesting.
I will hand over one of the. We'll do a blank journal for now.
Okay. Add a 6 journal to the to the clip. Anyways, so yeah, you are able to. He looks down at it and he kind of examines it and he says, "Yes, I can maybe make this grimoire, this book into a grimoire, and then this grimoire into a dragon-touched grimoire. The grimoire, we shall say, you want it +2 grimoire?
Yes.
Grimoire, we shall say 250. To dragon touch it would be another 100 on top of that.
Done.
Very good.
So that's 350?
Yes. That would be 350 gold for a Dragon Touch grimoire. As he looks to you all, he says, "You are like the richest people I have interacted with in the last week." I see, like, there's almost concern on his face as he says that, but then he turns and he says, "I will have this grimoire, in the next after. I can maybe get this done in the next several hours."
Amazing. I can also send you links to the 2 things I'm talking about if you need that.
Please and thank you. All right. At the end of the long rest, you are able to get a dragon touched grimoire. Definitely, I'll still definitely take those descriptions, but I'm sure you can add
I'm
that to
sending
your
them
own
now.
sheet. I'm sure you would be able to
with
add them to your.
The Dragon Touch Focus is one of the weird, like, ranked ones. I am happy with whichever level you want to give me.
Okay. Let me see. Oh wow, this is the uncommon, the lowest rank. Advantage on initiative rolls. Okay. It's an additional property determined by the family of the dragon in whose hoard it became stirring. Okay, for purposes of this doesn't have a like void dragon is not a chromatic gem or metallic. I will say you gain from a single scale you gain slumbering.
That is absolutely fair.
Especially because you only paid 100 gold for advantage on initiative rolls. But anyways, so you are able to get that grimoire. You all are able to get your items. Drew, is there anything Drew wants?
Yeah. So like, could I get a leather scale dragon armor from Malefish's like leather?
Oh my god! So you go to the same iron. Okay, first of all, I'm assuming you have a means of like transporting the materials. Uh, First of all, I'd probably
Yeah.
assume you'd have to like go to him and be like, "Okay, what materials do you need from this dead void dragon?" And he's just like, this man has such melancholy on his face as he hands you a shopping list. Go ahead and make, or I'll say for the hell of it, you are able to go ahead and roll a d10.
D10.
Am I with
7.
Drew when he
Okay.
goes to get this?
It takes you 7 hours of meticulously collecting all of the materials you need. And he also tells you that the price, for one more time, what was the armor you wanted?
Oh, leather scale dragon armor. Dragon leather heavier armor.
Dragon leather hemi. Is that the actual like?
No, I don't like. It's like it's just medium armor. From what I understood, better medium armor for me.
Okay.
The only thing is it's
So
not
are
made of
you?
metal, and I can't wear metal as a druid.
Uh-huh. What is the specific? Like? What is the name of the specific armor you want to make out of this? There's dragon hide armor. I can't tell what type this is. Like, let me look at dragon hide armor.
Yeah.
So there is dragon scale mail armor, which would give you I'll just send you this and let you determine whether or not you want this. This would cost you a pretty penny though, especially if you're making this. You can wear medium armor, correct?
Yep.
Okay.
I can wear heavy armor with my cleric.
Oh, okay.
Of course.
Where is your thing? Where's your? Struggling to find your. Oh, there it is. Here's this. So this would give you resistance to necrotic damage, I will say. As like there's like a list of dragon
Necrotic.
resistance,
So that's good.
depending on what type of dragon you choose. I would say this armament will give you resistance to necrotic damage if you use
That's
Malfesh.
good. So
This gives you +1 bonus to your AC, advantage on saving throws against being frightened and breath weapons of dragons, and you have resistance to necrotic damage. Additionally, you can use your second to magically discern in the distance direction to the closest dragon within 30 miles of you. That is okay. That is the same type of this armor. So that third ability is kind of useless because there's no void dragons. But everything else would be. Okay, but yeah. It would be.
how much?
Oh
That
boy.
sounds like awesome.
Yeah, you are asking him to make a full set of dragon scale mail out of a void dragon. He's going to tell you that's going to be like. He's gonna say. How much? Let me verify something real quick. Yeah, he's gonna say this is going to be 1,700. 1,750.
Oof, almost all my funds. But hell yeah, I got usable armor.
Okay. You will have. He's got a lot to make. But he is going to. But yeah, he will. You will have a full set of dragon scale mail armor. To weld to your own skin. As a warforged.
Oh hell yeah! Oh, and I also have 500 gold exactly to get the +2 Monsicle.
To get the +2 what?
+2 just Monsicle. It's just for It's for druids. +2 for spellcasting stuff.
Okay, that would probably be you'd be able to find for 250.
Oh,
Yeah, it's like I said, it's not that expensive.
let's go.
All right, all right. Is there anything else? Any shopping anyone wants to do?
Yeah, you know what? I am just going to get a. We're done picking at this body. I'm getting a cart with a horse. I'm casting reduce on the body, and I'm just taking the whole body to this guy.
What
Are
the fuck?
Just as a kindness?
No, I need it for my arm.
What?
Does reduce make the body small
know.
enough for you to pick it up?
Okay,
Maybe
I shouldn't.
depends on how big it is.
I will clarify. The reason that there are no leftovers of dragons after of ancestor dragons after they make their armor is because there are enough materials to make one.
Oh, okay.
So I will let you and Jake talk it over if you want to. Which armor you want to actually have? The dragon scale mail for Jake, or plate armor upgrade for, or you?
No, I'll let him have it. I'm good.
Okay.
Oh, really?
I was gonna say either Jake can have the dragon scale mail armor, or Tequila, you can have the dragon scale mail armor, but it's basically the materials are made into your original armor, and it would automatically become your protective armor.
I would rather keep Jacob because he will keep me up.
Fair enough.
Let's go! I
But-
got starting armor! Yeah!
Still,
Okay.
as a kindness, I'll bring this guy the body. I don't care.
It's a kindness.
I don't know. Maybe he'll get
He looks
something out of it.
mortified. He just looks. He's just like, what? Anyways, he looks. He says, now everything makes sense. The fallen void. I appreciate the sentiment.
Yep.
Is he gonna grumble?
but-
Is he like? Your reduced spell wanes, and he just expands and kind of just like to a size too big to fit into this kind of into this smithy. As he just looks at, and she's just like,
You're welcome. I yell as I leave.
you will never again be able to work with this iron dragon. No, I'm kidding. It's a very like he will remember that kind of moment. Okay. Now he's got a fucking giant. Now he's got Melfesh's corpse. What's left of it after the scale mail? All right. Is there so from what I understand, all of the shopping is done?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds
I
like
believe so.
All right. Now, is there anything? So, Myra, you spend the rest of I'm assuming the rest of your time, maintaining the archives.
Yeah, and adding what I can to my spell book. I'm not even going to try and buy new things because I had like 7 spell scrolls that I had not added.
I got you.
So I'm not even going to try and purchase new ones.
Okay. And then, would anyone else like to do anything specifically during this time?
I feel like Petal is 100% fulfilling the terms of her wizard's internship by hovering around the archives and bashing any orcs that show up to like throw a book or something.
You would notice that after Balder, after your conversation with Balder, the the rate at which you see a bunch of orcs walking around diminishes drastically. In fact, there seems to be a lot more Vanir, as he had said, that seem to be patrolling around, who don't really seem to interfere with any of the archives.
Wonderful. That means guard duty is going very well.
Okay. So you two are doing that. Does anyone else want to do anything?
Yeah, can I go to the archive and look into Svartalheim? See if there's any information there?
So I will say Svartalheim will not be able to be found within Malefesh's archives because this is because this is all Malefesh's archives are all collected from the old world. They wouldn't have any sort of information about the Underdark, but you would definitely be able to. I won't even have you roll for it. You'd be able to like ask around, and Svartalheim is the kind of the Underdark is basically like Hollow Earth kind of thing, where it's just a bunch of the Underdark kind of stretches all across Cerdonia. It's this channel of tunnels and networks and cave systems, and there's a lot of territories that are made from this. And Svartalheim is one of them. It is a massive collection of dominantly dwarves that reside in the Underdark, and have made these massive Underdark cities. Those familiar with Dusty, remember Dusty, would know that that is exactly where he had gone after the attack after helping you all with Barbu. As that seems to be his hometown, or his home nation, basically.
Okay.
Yeah, their whole thing is that Svartalheim is kind of a faction centered around this despot of mithril that they've been able to collect, and they've been mining mithril and producing mithril to kind of more. I shouldn't say selfishly, because it's technically theirs, but like they use the mithril for themselves. It's very rare to see mithril come to the surface, which is why the Deviat are more the source of metal, basically. But anyways, yeah, that is. Is there anything specifically you're looking for in terms of Svartalheim?
No, not really. I was just looking for general info on it.
Okay.
So I'm good.
All right. Is there anything else anyone would like to do?
So Green is gonna walk around kind of aimlessly and just examine the Vanir. See if any Vanirs stick out to him. Maybe, bring a memory back. Anything.
Okay. Go ahead and make I will say, investigation check or history check. But either of these will be, the investigation check will be a normal roll, but if you want to roll history, it would be disadvantage. Okay, 10. So on a 10 to investigation, you though you're not you you aren't familiar enough with looking around. The Vanir are very much so infantrymen. There are a lot of variations of these Feywild creatures that are that make up the Vanir. They range from from centaurs to Eladrin to sort of elven-like Fey creatures. There are some. They have these like intricate, fancy-looking steeds that kind of just look like hippocampi. If that name rings any bells. But the two main people there are two main people that seem to be like the people of interest of the Vanir. And that is firstly a person that you would have seen within the volcano originally, Lord Freyr. Freyr, Lord of the Fair, is one of the acting main leaders of the Vanir. They all seem to not so more refer to themselves militaristically, but more like they refer to them as huntsmen. And as almost like they are like people as if they are going back to their roots of people in a forest hunting prey, basically. And Freyr seems to be the leader of these huntsmen. But he's technically not, because he is still in the command of the Aesir, more specifically his sister, Queen Freya. They both seem to be these summer Eladrin folk with these very leafy orange colored, with this very like almost autumn like aesthetic to their clothing. Both of them are in fact barefoot, and they don't seem to really have any sort of like. You'd think they'd be their feet would be scalding from volcanic rock, but they don't seem to care at all. They Freyr is very more like a charismatic general who likes to help hype up his men, celebrate with his men. Freya seems more collected, muted almost, as she is also apparently the wife of King Odin of the Aesir. She is often rarely seen from your and when she is, it is also at the side of King Odin. But those are the two main people that you actually see. The rest don't seem to be very recognizable or very standoutish.
Does it look like does it look like I could walk up to Queen Freya and talk to her? Or does it look like she's being protected?
It does not look like Queen Freya definitely seems to hold herself like royalty. Like she's a queen and she wants you to know it. If anything, you'd have more of an opportunity to be able to do the same thing with Freyr.
Okay.
But that's up to you.
I'm gonna walk up to Freyr.
Okay. You would probably find Freyr kind of probably at this point kind of just like wandering about the outskirts of the volcano. He probably wouldn't pay you much mind until you actually address him in any sort of way. So I will let you do that. How do you think you would
Freyr.
approach?
Sorry.
Okay. So
Freyr. What Freyr was it?
You see him perk up as he looks down at you and he says, I believe that is my name.
Hi, my name is Citrine. I'm with the group who've been helping, clear out the volcanoes, investigate.
Oh yes, the spies. You have done amazing work, my friend. Thank you for your commendable services.
Thank you. I just wanted to ask. I know this seems probably very random, but did you ever hear about a group of infantry you maybe had sent on like a scouting mission years ago that went missing, never reported back?
Yes, but unfortunately, it was not a single. There were quite a many scouting parties that were often sent to the Forbidden East in an attempt to scout out, and not many were able to make it out.
Yeah, that makes sense. But no one's ever made it back. No one's ever
Oh, there have been
come back at
people
all?
that have been able. There have been stragglers that have been able to survive. But not anything with anything of value, or unfortunately, it was rather negative output in those spy works.
How do I say this? Well, I'm one of those stragglers. Nice to meet you.
Oh,
If we've ever,
you are Vania.
yes. Though I only very recently learned this.
My apologies. I had not been able to tell you. Don't. And you see his like eyes kind of like do this like wipe transition where his orange pupils kind of wipe, and there's this purple color in his eyes before they fade. They wipe back to this orange color, and he looks and he says, "You are not fair.
No,
You are not."
there's a reason for that we could discuss in a more private place if you wish, but I had to let one of my people know another one of us, I guess, made it out of there.
I see. Well, it is a miracle that you are able to survive. That you were able to survive. It is a moment of celebration, if anything. But I'm deeply sorry for what has become of you.
Thank you.
I wish there was more I can do, but unfortunately, there's not. Unfortunately, there's not a lot I can do for you in this moment.
That's okay. I hate to ask a favor, seeing as we have just met each other, but is there any way you could find information on me? Who my family are, people I cared about, people who cared about me. The people I was with when I went to the Forbidden East.
In order to do so, I'd have to travel back to Vanaheim. And the gateways have been were the gateways were closed off, but I can maybe find a way back if I can maybe find a way back. Yes.
It's okay if you can. I understand it's a big ask.
No. You have given far too much for this to be so unimportant. I will see to it done.
Thank you. Lord Freyr.
Gives a nod, and then he turns and he makes his departure. All right. That information might come up later. Anyways, so is there anything else anyone would like to do? All right.
No.
All right. So, night draws on. You see that the Aesir and the Vanir and the Deviat are making war preparations again. They seem to be moving on to the next to Vukerik the very next morning. But for now, it is night time as there is revelry at their victory today. And there is more, as you would find all throughout the ruined city that Malefesh had ruled. There are celebrations. People are definitely celebrating outside of their galleons, as it has been several days of being just on the galleons. But you would find that people are celebrating in their own manner, as they are awaiting the next morning to come, when they will take on Bukarik. The Aesir court are beginning to almost establish Malefesh's volcano as their new base of operations until for now. As you would eventually see the king himself, King Odin, this massive I've coined the phrase massive quite a bit to describe these orcs. He stands taller than the rest. Taller than Baldur, taller than Thor himself as well. Taller than Freyr and Freya. This orc of this muted green skin, an eye patch over one eye, and this crystal blue pupil. Go ahead. Those that are proficient with this skill check, please make a perception check. And only if you are proficient with it. With perception.
Oh shit.
Fucking hell. All right. Yep. So Myra, you've been okay. Tequila. Shit. Okay. It's interesting. Specifically for Myra and Tequila. Tequila, you've been dabbling a little bit you've been dabbling a lot with the Arvandorians and the celestial magic just purely being attuned to Angus's old firearm. And Myra, you have been probably the longest player in the Forbidden East out above Vorn.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that you notice that Odin's eye is crackling with celestial gold. It's where the black pupil where the pupil should be black in his eye is this celestial gold, and the light kind of cracks throughout his crystal blue iris within his eye. But it's a singular eye, as his other one is concealed with an eye patch. And he wields this massive staff with this totem of an owl on it. At his beck and call are not only two dire wolves that just seem to heed his command as if they were mere dogs, but also Hugin and Mugen? Both very alive. On his shoulder, that seem to just nest either on his shoulder, on his staff, in different places around his body, wherever they see fit. Either there or flying around. But much to Myra's confusion, Hugin is very much alive. It wouldn't take much to perhaps connect Hugin's origins to a sort of find familiar or any sort of
Yeah, I think she just has the thought
familiar.
of like, that's a weird familiar, but okay.
Especially a weirdly sentient one.
Yeah.
It's probably the second most sentient familiar was Blixty. But that's as close as it got. There are a manner of other faces you would be greeted to. You all, or I will probably reintroduce this person again because some people hadn't seen them before. Standing not as tall as Odin, but rather hulking, the leader of the Aesir army, adorned in this massive set of plate armor, this muted red hair tied in a tied back behind his head, and a large bushy beard of red hair. This massive cape behind him, and an even larger hammer at his side. A single eye patch covering over one of his eyes. This is Thor Odinson. And you will also notice that with the people with high enough perception, I'll say, there seems to be a reoccurring trait of the generals and the commanders and the leading class of the leadership class of the Aesir army. They're all missing an eye. But nevertheless, this is where you would probably first see Queen Freya at Odin's side, as this would probably be the first time Odin is being seen. At his side as well. Very outstanding from the rest of the Aesir, from the rest of the Vanir. A very pale-skinned, tall humanoid. Pale skin, jet black hair falling behind his face. Almost this withered exterior. That withered exterior of his face that and adorned in these rather lighter fabrics of this brown and this vibrant green, wielding this sort of elegant looking wand and this green tinted blade. This is Loki. He doesn't seem to have any other titles other than just Loki. No sort of last name, no sort of rank. He's just Loki. And then last but not least, okay. There's quite a lot of people here. I put a lot of thought into this, okay? Shush. Last, is a very large, platinum dragonborn. That probably sounds familiar. Adorned in very similar platinum platinum armor that seems to be forged from a platinum dragon itself, wielding a massive greatsword in hand. This platinum dragonborn has this sort of waft of multicolored eyes, but also seems to be grafted with different metals. It seems like the main body is made out of this platinum, but there are fade-ins of gold and brass and copper and other metals that seem to make up his skin. But he mostly conceals it within this massive set of platinum plate armor. And this is Heimdall, the old child. Anyways, those are all of the MVPs, I should say. The MVP NPCs that I have. Anyways, you eventually find yourselves drifting asleep Some of you only need 4 hours, some of you need 5, some of you need none. I don't think actually anyone needs none, but anyways. Is anyone keeping any sort of watch while in the spring wind?
Well, I never really go to sleep. I'm always like just meditating and resting my mind. I think that's a whole thing. Like monks don't actually
I
go
mean
to
more
sleep.
specifically like on patrol, pretty much.
Huddle will
'Cause you-
always be able to cover half.
I would have probably Champ. Champ would kind of be, hovering around the main deck.
See, the problem is that
Well-
you, during your trance, it's a very subconscious kind of state you are in. It's very
Okay, so
much
you
you
would
are
have-
like kind of falling asleep for 4 hours, but you're not actually falling asleep. So though you'd be able to have Champ like patrol the area as a independent familiar, you wouldn't really be able to like see through his eyes, hear
See through
anything
it,
he
yeah.
says.
Yeah, but I guess that would be the closest thing that I would have to like any sort of guard or patrol would just be Champ being awake still and not having any necessity for like rest.
Petal, what did you say?
I've certainly got half of the watch covered because I actually do just have the 4-hour trance.
Okay. Yeah. Would we say that like the elves of the group, or maybe Drew included, would probably be like alternating, where it's like someone sleeps for 4 hours while the other is on patrol, and then someone sleeps, and then it kind of switches.
Yeah, that could work like shifts.
Okay.
Definitely.
All right. So that would be probably Church and Petal. I will ask the two of you. One of you pick odds, one of you pick evens.
Okay.
Even.
Okay, I'll go odds.
All right. Okay. I think this makes probably the most sense. Petal. You are out on patrol, observing, as you are also probably making sure you're in Harryar alongside Cornelius are also keeping watch. But as you make your way along the main deck, you see looking off the edge in this sort of very solemn manner, Zoremiel, looking off the edge of the spring wind, kind of just looking down at the lava below.
It's very hard not to say I called it, that his boss would wind up betraying us. But I try my best to bite my tongue. I just kind of lean over the edge of the ship with him before lighting my cigar and trying to pass it over and saying, "Sure you don't want just a little bit?"
We tried that already. It's not gonna do anything.
I offered. You didn't try. There's a big difference.
He kind of like takes an inhale and then he holds out his hand.
Oh no, you're not supposed. Oh, okay. Okay. Well,
He just grabs it like a stick, and he just like flips it into a like pencil kind of formation, and then he just inhales, and then he just looks, and he's like, "All right, now what?" Like you can see smoke just kind of billowing out of his mouth.
after seeing him actually inhale it and just shrug it off, I realize this dude is completely built different, and nothing I have can actually help.
I am a fully dead person, I should clarify.
And I guess that's gonna make you a little bit deader.
I don't. Okay. And he like passes the cigar back to you.
Tough shit about your boss.
It was a possibility. We had. It seems the Chained Oblivion is tired of loose ends, tired of betrayal. He could do anything he wants with it, but he could handle betrayal as he had, a wave of his hand. But he just didn't seem to care. Not until now.
It happens. It's almost like half of his most important generals have been, killed, and his island is being invaded, and
Have?
I can't count that high. How many have we whacked?
You've whacked 2.
Two.
Right?
Damn, I guess I can
No.
count that high.
No, Milfesh told me about Aeolus. Kinda. You didn't kill Aeolus. And Marcus.
Wait, we didn't kill Aeolus?
No, you let her escape.
Oh shit.
That's right.
She's still on her island.
Well, fuck. I wish you hadn't told me that.
Oh well. Sorry. Well, you've killed 3. And the Chained Oblivion has not just Jotunheim. I should clarify. It's the entire anything that's not Niflheim.
Well, shit. I really wish you hadn't told me that.
I'm sorry, it's it's why you're here. It's why all of us are here.
Well, it's
Why
why
these-
they're here. I was just sent out here like, oh yeah, go pick up a wizard, bring her back home. It'll be easy. In,
And
out.
she's here for this. So you're here for this.
You know, before I left, I thought her grandfather was paying very well.
What was he paying you?
You know, I don't remember at this point, but it wasn't enough.
Okay.
I think I got a
Ah,
couple
well.
hundred out of this.
Oh. Yeah, that seems extremely low. You got a couple hundred just for spying on people.
Just for traveling to an uncharted part of the world filled with demons and other scary things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Did you know we didn't have a map to get here?
It makes sense. I mean, nobody knows what's going on over here. Otherwise, there'd be other people trying to help, right?
Do you think Cerdonia is flat?
Fact.
It seems odd that there's all of this going on over here and no one had mapped it.
Well, when you think about it this way, we are fighting Cerdonia's most powerful defense. Because that's what we were. That was what we were designed to be. Our Vandor was meant to be the greatest defense, the Celestial Knights, and then it just went away. And now the Chained Oblivion owns our Vandor. That's how I see it. Because that's how it is.
I hate it when some moody asshole steals the world's scariest defense weapon.
But Nelfesh was a part of that. Barbu was a part of that. Adam Marcus was a part of that. And Hera, Zeus, the not the Hecatoncres. The Hecatoncres, I don't know what the Hecatoncres was. I don't even want to remember what that was. But the point is, Arvandor was the strongest defense of Cerdonia. But we are seeing now that doesn't make it the strongest defense of this time. You are doing good work here. And so is the rest of Cerdonia.
Well, I just hope it'll be good enough.
I hope so too. I'd very much like to live for once.
Living is generally pretty nice.
I would have been able to live forever, and now I die forever, technically.
So, like, if you die forever, does that mean that you stay dead or you just continue dying?
I'm just in a perpetual state of death.
Well, that's pretty hardcore, at least.
Yeah. 3,000 years of it gets a little boring.
I know a good physical therapist. He'll make you feel like you're alive again, real quick.
Mentally?
I said physical therapist. There is no fixing
That's what I was
3,000
saying.
years of brain
That's
rot.
why I was like, that's why I was saying it's not.
Look, your knees have to be stiff after 3,000 years.
Not really. I'm actually quite mobile all the time.
You're just, like, immune to rigor mortis? Did it just wear off after a while?
We were meant to never age as an Arvandor. So there are Arvandors that are still alive now, that are as old as the Arvandors were, and are continually that old. I think there's one. There's one, right? No, there's 1, 2, 3. Epidemic doesn't count.
Wait, there's 3 Arvandors?
Well, there's more. There's a lot. There's more. I don't know if Asmodeus counts. Prometheus is still alive. I think something. Zariel? Is Ariel count? Maybe. I don't know. The point is, there are other Arvandorians still alive as well, and they are also helping in this fight, which is also making it better. And the Einherjar are Arvandorians technically. They're Arvandor is kind of just become the generalized term, but the Nahuatl that are the Einherjar, or the Chickamoztak, they are as old as the old world. They are as old as Arvandor. And look at them. Look at Cornelius.
They are pretty old.
They are very old. I mean, yours might be a little bit newer. Just because, but I don't think so. No.
I asked once, and they ran out of fingers while counting how
The
old they were.
the Trojan are a lot more older, I think, than your Cornelius and your other comrades, but they're still fairly old.
I'll have to teach Cornelius how to write someday so they can tell me how old they actually are.
He doesn't know how to write.
It's not really something that they need to know.
I mean, I guess.
It's more of an interest thing, you know. A couple of them have figured it out. They've learned over time, but Cornelius does not care.
Makes sense. I think it makes sense. I think that makes sense.
Okay, so I need you to not take this the wrong way.
Mm-hmm.
But you were kind of just under the employ of a demon lord who kind of got taken over by the Chained Oblivion. And I know y'all have some whole hive mind stuff and everything going on.
Mm-hmm.
So, don't take this personally, but I need you to be very still for me for a moment. And I cast Identify onto
Okay.
our little buddy. That last paragraph was what's relevant.
If you instead catch a creature through the casting another spell, if any are currently affecting it. Ooh. None. There's not a
Interesting.
single spell on this on Zaremiel.
None at all.
None at all. This seems whatever the Chained Oblivion has on these people, on the demons, is not magical.
Interesting. Terrifying.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, it'd be psionic. Because it's quite literally a hive mind, so it's more of a connection to my brain. But it's not any sort of magic.
Well, that's slightly more terrifying.
Oh, yes. Quite.
Well, I'm going to go that way a little bit and hope that it's not a proximity-based thing. I hope you get over losing your boss.
It will pass. And I mean, once these new individuals show up here, it will be okay.
New individuals?
Oh yeah, I can see them. It's what was Church's father's name again? And that's where we're gonna session for tonight.
Delightful.
Wait. What? Oh, wait.
Alright. So yeah. That is where we're gonna session for tonight. That's yeah.
Damn.
Hopefully next session we will begin hopefully it won't be an excruciatingly long combat session. I'll have to plan it out a bit more. We will begin with the attack on Vukarik. We'll probably pick up immediately where we left off with this conversation, but yeah.
Oh, before you plan combat, can I make a suggestion? Less NPCs on our side.
You mean
like
you
less
mean
NPCs
okay?
on
I mean,
our
yeah,
team?
I get that, but also every single infantryman on your team
Yes,
is
they can be
technically
background. They are not in our initiative, so they don't matter to us or something like that.
I get that. Okay. All right. Well, that's
It
going to be the
speed
end
up
of the.
and be, yeah.
It's going to be the end of the
Yippee.
session. Okay. I will see you guys. 2 weeks. So that'll be the oh. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna have to. I think I'm gonna have to cancel next session because that is my birthday. And
Happy birthday!
I would preferably like to spend my birthday celebrating my birthday than playing D&D. Respectfully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that is
Is it too late to buy a shield? A normal one?
a shield? Yeah, you can buy a shield. Yeah, you can buy a normal shield if it's but yeah. We'll also go over all of the magic items that everyone bought. But yeah, that's gonna be the end of the session for tonight. Thank you guys for coming out, and I will see you guys the 26th, I think. Damn. All right.
All right.
Let's go.
Probably. We'll see. Take care,
See you
y'all.
nerds in a month. Happy
Night,
birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.